everybody, it's Jen. Welcome to Yoga Express. We're going to get started very shortly. One thing, if you happen to have it today, would be helpful is some sort of bolster or foam roller or rolled up mat, or anything that has a little bit of a cylindrical shape to it. If you don't have it, don't worry, don't rush and find something. You could even use a block if you need. We're just going to basically just doing some stretches for shoveling basically. And I'd like to have a kind of a connection point. So I have this, I got it at Five Below for $5. But anything, I mean, you could literally use a yoga mat or a other mat. Anything like that, a pool noodle, anything that you may have. If you can't grab it, that's great. So therefore, if you don't have it, don't worry about it. It's not the end of the world. But if you have it, grab it. And then come on over to your mat, find a spot, get comfy, and we're gonna get started. I have my heater going on in here. It's a little chilly down here, but I think we're gonna warm up when we start moving, so I'm not too concerned. I have my water, I have my spot, I have myself mentally ready to go. So get situated, enjoy, breathe, and let me just confirm one more time that we are live. Okay, we are good. So I'm just gonna sit on my bolster because it's here. Definitely don't have to. 2 minutes, nice and relaxed and enjoying ourselves. As I said before, we're going to do a little stretching and movement for shoveling. A lot of people did get snow this past weekend. A lot of people obviously are getting snow all the time this time of year. So wanted to just kind of take a minute and stretch out those muscles of the back, of the shoulders, of the neck. So that's kind of our idea for this next half hour. All right, take 2 more breaths. All right, and let's stretch out the neck and the upper back. So what I want you to do is I want you to take one arm, bring it back behind your back, have your hand kind of popping up the side. So you're doing this, but it's behind you. You're sitting up nice and tall, however you're seated. And then you're going to take your other hand and bring it right on top of her head. And so we're pulling that ear down to our shoulder very, very slightly, just the pressure of that hand. And then it's going here and then stretching all this. So all of this up in here. I'm just gonna hold it and breathe. This should not be painful. And let's release, and let's do that same thing on the other side. So take that arm, bring it behind, then take that other hand. And your ear is probably going to come nowhere near your shoulder. That's totally fine. And release. All right, I'm going to take my prop, whatever I have. I'm just going to bring it in front. And I'm gonna come to all fours. And I'm just gonna go through a couple cat-cows, warm up the back. At my own pace, as always. Now, do one more of each pose. So coming up and coming down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take one hand to bring it a little bit towards more the middle as compared to right underneath my shoulder, just so I have the support. I'm going to take the other arm out in front. I'm going to pull that shoulder down and bring that elbow to the hips. So I'm here and coming here. So first we're just going to work on just this motion on the one side. Next time you bring that shoulder and elbow in, come all the way back and we're going to come forward. So all the way back and forward. So it's almost like we're doing a front crawl stroke, but instead of scooping into the water, we're going to come up and do a big shoulder circle. Let's do one more. And then let's give that arm a break. Other side. So we're here. Pull the elbow in and back out. Pull the elbow in and back out. Nice and easy. And then adding in a little bit more. So coming on in, big circle around. Coming on in, big circle around. Opening up the upper back. One more. And then come down. All right, now I want you to take, I'm going to turn sideways again. I'm going to take that first arm, come up, loop it through, and then come back up. So full motion. Loop it through and up. And if I want to look up towards that hand, I can. If that's too much, I can keep the gaze towards the floor. Let's do one more. And release. Other side. Up and through. And let's come back to the center. Now we're going to put all that together. So what I want you to do is you're going to take that first arm, come back, all the way around, all the way down, and all the way up. Okay? And then we're just going to alternate back and forth. And if you mess up, don't worry. Just go through some ranges of motion. That's all I really want you to do. Okay? All right, so side A. I'm out. Bring that elbow in. Loop it all the way around. Bring that arm through. Bring that arm all the way down so it's actually touching. So full range. Open up and come back in. Other side. In. Forward, around, thread that needle, hold it for a second, and come up and relax. We're going to do that 2 more times each side at your own pace and take your time. All right, let's go. All the way around. Thread that needle and come back up. Reset. Forward. Back, around, thread that needle, reset. One more time each side. Forward, bring it back, around, thread the needle, and come on up. Other side, all the way around, thread that needle. Come on up and release. Beautiful. Sit back, take a couple seconds. Roll the shoulders back and down. So now we're going to use the bolster if you have now. So you can also use a pair of blocks or a block or even a water bottle turned on its side. Anything that you actually have a tactile thing that you can touch. And if you don't, you're just going to have to kind of hold your hands above. It's going to be a little bit more challenging, but it shouldn't be hard in any way, shape, or form. All we're going to do is we're going to come forward. We're going to have a nice flat back. Now we're just going to just lift one arm up and come down. Lift the other arm up and come back down. So if I didn't have something, I would just be here and coming up, down, up, down. So we're going to do that for about 30 seconds. Going nice and slow and controlled and just working on these upper shoulders and upper back. Okay? So, lean it over. Make sure you have a flat back. If you're not sure, adjust. Figure out what you need to do to make sure that you have a flat back. My position may be different than your position. Okay, so you ready? Lift and lower, nice and slow. Halfway. I'm going to do one more each side. And then I'm going to release. I'm going to swing my legs around. I'm going to lay on my back. I'm going to take a second, and I'm just going to windshield wiper those knees a little bit, one to each side. This should feel nice to give your upper body a chance to take a little bit of a breather. Okay, we're going to hug those knees in. We're going to bring those feet up to about 90 degrees. We're going to let go of those knees. We're going to drop and come up. Drop and come up. Two more each side. And come on in, drop those feet, and then bring those knees out to the side. Putting your hands on your hips. If your feet are feeling more comfortable being farther out, if you feel like you need the space for your hips to open up, that's fine. Take 3 breaths here. And then bring those knees together and grab behind those thighs and let's roll 4 times. For 1, for 2, for 3, and for 4, and then sit on up. All right, so we're gonna do some cow legs, and I'll tell you right now that mine are gonna be absolutely horrible. That's okay. So we're just going to, we'll get into it slowly. So let's start here first. So I'm just bringing one foot in, and then the other foot is just on top. So we're just here. Giving that knee a little bit of a squeeze. And so this is my right knee. I'm going to take my left hand and arm and squeeze it, and just do a little twist here. and then come back to the center. Now I'm going to take this leg and do my best to lay it on top of the other knee. So this is where I feel like I'm going to be today. That's just how it is. But that's why I'm working on it, because I know my back is tight for my shoveling. So in a perfect world, the knee would be on top of the knee, just like that. It's okay if you're here. I'm lifting myself up, I'm plopping myself back down, and I can grab those feet and I can lean forward if that feels okay, or I can just sit up nice and tall. And nice and easy, release those legs. I'm going to take the other leg, I'm going to tuck it in. I'm going to bring that other leg on top, just like this. Tuck it in. So this is my left leg. I'm taking my right arm, looping it through, and twisting. Perfect world, you'd be stretching before you go on to shovel, and then after you come back. But depending on where you are, you could be going in and out of shoveling all day. Release, and let's have the other side up. And with this last storm, every 2 hours you're going out just to keep up so you're not shoveling. 2 feet at the end. But if you know that you're going to be going out for a long shovel haul, like you're going out shoveling 3 hours straight. However, I would not recommend doing that, but sometimes it is what it is. Stretch before you go out, please. Stretch after you come back in, please. Hydrate and make sure you're actually lifting properly, not just throwing snow everywhere. And release. Just bring those arms, those legs in front. So if you don't shovel, maybe you snow blow. And obviously you probably have to shovel a little bit, your walkway and things. But when you're holding on to those grips, guess what? Forearms, they get tight. So let's cross one arm over the other. So in this particular case, my right arm's on top, and I'm grabbing that right hand and I'm pulling back. So it's here, but I'm adding in a little bit of a rotation. Bring those toes up nice and up to the ceiling. Especially if you suffer from things like carpal tunnel and things, doing something like a snowblower might drive your arms crazy. Other side, same thing, just other side. And really, sorry, let's swing those legs around. We're gonna do a little downward dog flow. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go child's pose, tabletop, downward dog. So child's pose, bring those knees in, sit back on those heels, and bring that forehead close to the mat. So we're gonna stay here for a couple seconds. And then we're gonna push through to tabletop. Hold it here for a couple seconds. Tuck those toes under. Lift up. Drop those knees. Sit back, child's pose. Lean forward, tabletop. Tuck those toes, downward dog. So we're going to keep going with this at your own pace. Child, tabletop, downward dog. If you want to stay in one of these positions much longer, please do so. We're going to go about another 30 seconds or so. So do what feels good for you. And when you've gone through your cycle one more time, come back to child's pose. This time, bring those knees nice and wide. Sit back and down and bring that forehead to the mat. or to a prop. Really sinking back into those hips. And then coming on up. Bring those knees in. Let's do a quick standing posture real quick. So come through tabletop, into downward dog, and then walk those feet up and rolling all the way up to standing. Making any adjustments that you need to make. Getting yourself situated and then coming to mountain. Crossing your right leg over your left and bringing that arm back behind. And I'm going to lean in a little bit, so I'm getting a big stretch all the way down. Shoulder is pulled back. So maybe I feel a stretch more if I lean forward a little bit. As such, maybe I feel more of a stretch if I lean back a little bit. Everyone is different, so kind of play a little bit and find where the stretch feels good for you. And if you're like, and this isn't working for me, and I want to just know, I know that this feels good, do that. You can always override everything. Other side. And release. All right, so let's do a standing flow. So we've done these plenty of times, of course, but it should be comfortable for you. Standing up nice and tall. Our arms go up. We're going to do a little back bend. We're going to swan dive down. Bend those knees, touch the floor, and then roll on up. So full body movement, okay? We're going to go about 30 to 45 seconds of this straight through. So come on up. Little bend back. A swan dive down. Bend those knees, touch the ground. Roll it on up. I'm going to go through 2 more times. And I'm feeling a nice stretch in those abs when I do my little backwards lean. And let them come all the way up. Nice and tall, and come back to mountain. I'm going to take one arm, bring it behind, take the other arm, bring it behind, and grabbing the opposite elbow. Pulling those shoulders back. And release. Now, if you have a wall nearby or a bed frame nearby or anything like that, we're going to stretch out the pecs a little bit. So I'm going to bring that hand parallel to the floor, pushing up against a door, anything like that. So I'm feeling a nice stretch, and my thumb is facing up. I'm going to bring that towards an upward angle. Same thing. Nice stretch. Just doing, instead of it going a stretch this way, it's doing a little bit of a stretch that way. And then diagonal down. You need to twist a little bit more or a little bit less, depending on the position that I'm in. And release. Let's do that same thing on the other side. So I'm just going to go to this other wall, but you can just turn and face the other direction. Rotate. And up at an angle. And down at an angle. So we did the upper back, we did the neck, we did the chest. Release, and then nice and slowly make your way back down to the ground and lay down on your stomach, please. We're almost done. We're going to come to a sphinx. Stretch out that low back one more time. Stretch out those abs. Drop that head. Stretch out the back of the neck. Release. Bend those knees and windshield wiper them left and right. And if you feel like this is enough of a stretch for your low back, that's fine. Let those knees hang in one way or those feet hang in one way. If this isn't comfortable on your knees at all, please don't. And the other way. Come back to the center, drop those feet, and let's physically just roll over onto your back. I'm going to turn this way though, just so I can see the clock, just to make sure that we end on time. We're on our back, and we are in our Shavasana. Hands on the belly, or arms out, palms up, shoulders tucked under. Great time to grab a blanket or a pillow or sweatshirt or some socks. Wiggle those fingers, wiggle those toes, bend those knees, and just drop them to one side. Come through center and the other side. Whatever side you're on, use that top arm to push yourself up. And bring yourself back to your rest of your workday. Have a great day. Stay safe while you're shoveling. And have a great rest of your afternoon.